Hi, welcome to my presentation on communication channels. We're going to be taking a look today at the various communication channels that are used both in the classroom and the ones that are used outside of the classroom, which our researchers call back channel communications. We're going to go through, we're going to look at the different ones, we're going to look at some research done comparing the use of the different ones, and we're going to talk about my ideal, the type of back communication and formal communication channel I hope we are actually getting closer every day to being able to build. I'm going to include speaker notes, but my speaker notes kind of resemble my history notes. There's a lot of shorthand, some abbreviations, and I'm giving you the speaking part of this as a way to make a little bit more of a complete statement of what I've got here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with the first and probably one of the most popular even to this day forms of back channel and regular communication, and that's email. So Frey and Kearns, which is our researchers back in 2010, they decided to compare the types of back channel communication used by regular students in a traditional classroom and non-traditional students in an online classroom. They did this to actually look at what back channel communication was available and readily usable by online or distance learners. Why is back channel communication so important? Back channel communication is important because, believe it or not, when we are talking to other students outside of class about the homework, about the quizzes, when we're complaining, this isn't even just study groups. Honestly, complaining to another student about a thing that you are having to learn has amazing use as a learner. It helps you, it helps make what you're learning transferable. It also helps you get peer-to-peer feedback, peer-to-peer tutoring, and just the fact that you're actually talking about the in-class stuff out of class goes a long way to making sure that you're actually learning. For that reason, back channel communication is very important, but whereas traditional students can do it quite easily on the way to class, between classes, when they're complaining in those 5 minutes before professor gets there, or that, help me review these notes real quick because I know we've got a quiz today. That stuff is very easily built into a traditional classroom. It wasn't formally put there, but it's there. An online or distance learning classroom has a completely different set of restraints when it comes to communication, and it's not as easy to look at the person next to you and go, hey, will you help me with blah? Or, oh my God, did you know blah? Or how did you do on the quiz about blah? This is just not something you can actually do very easily in our current online learning environments. So Kearns and Frey, when they did their research, they found that email was a primary source of communication for 100% of students in their survey of online students and of the campus traditional students when it came to back channel communication. Email has become a preferred way of handling business because of automatic documentation, making it pretty much an ideal universal way of online communicating. Even my great grandparents can use email at this point because it has evolved, but in its simplest forms, email has been around for the longest of most online communication tools. And it's very easy to use. Usually it's pretty simple. Sometimes you'll fight when you're trying to attach files, but other than that, email is it's a very easy concept. You put in the address of the person you're sending it to, the email address, not the physical address, of course, and it automatically, of course, generates yours. And then you just type a message in the body, and it's send. It's not you have to download anything. It's usually browser based. So email is a very simple, very easy, and very commonly used type of back channel communication and a type of formal communication frequently between student or student and teacher. It's just easy, and we're used to it, and we keep doing it. And I would say with pretty much confidence that the research that they found in 2010 saying that email is a primary source of communication is definitely still a thing today. Now, discussion forums. Oh, discussion forums. So this discussion forums are more of a formal communication channel. They're not a back communication channel, though some online schools have actually started using this. The reason discussion forums are such an important thing is because in the traditional classroom, back to that, talking to each other about what you're learning is really, really important, especially when a teacher can facilitate and make sure to guide your conversation, guide your questions. Here's an example of a discussion forum. If you're unfamiliar with them, you talk to each other, you respond to each other. It's great. You're usually responding to a specific guided question or prompts. Now, something that Ashford has currently, I don't know if our new system will, is we actually have a built-in forum for back-channel communication, which is kind of cool. We mainly use it because we were confused in the beginning about a slightly ambiguous instruction, and you see that we all were like, we're going to put it here then. Okay, so that said, that gives us a good look of forums. So let's go to our next one. All right, social media PLCs or COPs. Social media networks, social networks are good platforms to mix and meet with personal and professional learning communities or communities of practice. So I've got an actual YouTube video here for us to watch. I don't know if we can actually watch a YouTube video while I'm making a video. So I'm going to say you probably have to come back and click on that. But the gist of it is that social media networks, whether it's Edmodo, whether it's Facebook, whether it's LinkedIn, they're great platforms if you're trying to create and meet with your professional learning or personal learning community or community of practice, which is a good way to kind of form that like group of kids or group of students who have similar interests or similar goals, working together towards a thing, working together through a class. It's that thing that we have naturally in traditional schools that we didn't really think about until we moved to distance education. But hey, now we have a way to do the thing. Finally, wait, no, there's one more. Collaborative creating and editing. Collaborative creating and editing Google Docs are something that I think are probably the coolest as far as online distance education thing that we have had yet. It's browser based. If you use Google, it's basically an entire office suite. You can make slides, you can make spreadsheets, you can make presentations, you can make you can write documents. Google automatically saves works, be it a slideshow or document or spreadsheet. I don't know about you guys, but the worst thing ever when I was younger was I would work really hard on this project. I'd spend hours on it, and I'd forget to frickin' save. It was awful. We all have that moment, right? The like scream of, oh no, oh my God, no. When we have spent 6 hours working on this project, and because we didn't think to save, we have just lost everything. Google and a lot of our browser-based creative spaces now, that kind of solves that problem. If you can see, this automatically saved a few minutes ago. So I haven't made any changes since then, so it's saved at my last change. Google also allows you to work on the same project in real time, even with miles between you, which is a really cool thing. I can be working on a manuscript that I'm co-writing with a friend of mine, and we can go back and forth in comments. We can go back and forth and actually watch each other change what we're working and create it together, even with distance between us. Okay, finally, here's where I hope that we're going with this. Virtual worlds, they scored the lowest. Like, most people didn't even know what Currents and Frey were asking about in 2010 when they asked about virtual worlds being used as a back channel for communication. I'm hoping this is what we're moving to, not only for back channel, but for formal education, because it would be an ideal way to build an immersive, fully experienceable online learning environment, especially with the advancements in AR and VR that we have. One of my favorite games, you can actually build a browser into, like, you have a browser that you can do actual research in. So I know we're getting there, but we're still in the getting there process. Anyway, that is my presentation on communication channels, both formal and back communication. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have the best day.